Good morning, afternoon, or evening, my hunters, for whenever you're watching this. Welcome to Canteen Talk. Hello and welcome to the first episode of Canteen Talks. What are we talking about today? Well, if you read the title down below, we're talking about Monster Hunter Rise not being a dead game. What do I mean by that? Well, first we're going to have to talk about the whole point in Monster Hunter. Do you play it for a story? No. With the exception of World, the story is hidden behind very few cutscenes and a whole lot of lore that you have to physically go in and read. So, it's not story based. Is it exploration based? Well, with this game you can go around, screw around, find new things, but no, that's not the point of it. The whole point is fighting giant monsters, killing the giant monsters more effectively. So what's the end game of it? Well, the end game of all Monster Hunters is to pretty much screw around, find new gimmicks, and have fun killing monsters. For base games, Monster Hunter Rise does this extremely efficiently. How? Well, I literally have a set that has very few armor skills, but a whole lot of decoration slots of 3s and 2s. I can put on any gimmick I want. The second point is, you go through the game playing with your best weapon. You beat the game. What now? Ooh, I wonder how the longsword works. So you build an armor based around the longsword in that example, or whatever weapon you want to talk about. This is where Rise shines better than any other Monster Hunter game for the base game. Not talking about G-Rank expansions, not talking about Iceborne DLC, because they have an armor that is literally good for every weapon. What armor is this? The Narwa and Ibushi armor. Because once you level it up enough, you get this amazing little skill called Storm Soul. Oh, it only improves the power of thunder and dragon attacks. Yes, but if you get 5 pieces of either Ibushi or Narwa, or any combination in between, you get an increase of all skills that the armors that you currently have attached by 2. And like I said, you can mix and match Ibushi and Narwa armor to change the skills, because both sets have Storm Soul and both Storm Souls stack as Storm Soul. It's not like you have to have 5 Ibushi or 5 Narwa. You can have 3 Ibushi, 2 Narwa, or any 4, 1, 5, 0, however you want to do it. But the biggest shiner is they literally have all these skills. You can go in with the same sets for any range, or the same sets for any melee weapons, and still have a decent ass set. So I legitimately believe that these armors were just put in not to be used as a main set, but as trial sets to try the new weapons. For example, when I first started Bow, I used Narwa set and Ibushi set. When I started Dual Swords, I built it a set for them, not knowing how they worked, but I eventually went back to Narwa and Ibushi armor to test it and found that that build was better, and I eventually built a build better once I figured out how each skill affected the weapon. In G rank, there is one other armor that I can think of that is better, and that would be Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate's Nacet armor from the monster Alta Call. Why? Well, the skills work differently in Monster Hunter Generations. The way it worked was, instead of having 1 point for this skill to activate it, you needed 10 points for this skill, 15 for the next rank, and 20 for the next rank, stuff like that. Well, the Nacet armor has Secret Arts, which grants a +2 to any skill, and Double Talisman, which doubles the talisman that you're currently holding. And talismans were not as easy to get as in this game or Monster Hunter World. You had to go to the volcanic regions or the hidden areas of any map, mine for the talisman stones, and then afterwards see what talisman you got. So, what now? Well, the next part of the end game would be the G rank expansion, and there's two ways they can do this. They can go back to their original formula where they release a new game, which is pretty much the game plus stuff added on the end of it, or a DLC. And I know what you're thinking. Well, why should I keep playing this game if I'm just going to have to reset everything and start all over when the new game comes out? And if you're new to Monster Hunter or hadn't played 4 or Generations, they don't screw you over. They know you put all this time and effort in this game. So you can start over from scratch, or you can build your character like you normally would starting over, and then port everything from your last game into the new game. Or there's the DLC way that World did, and that would just $20, $30 DLC to add the end game to it. So either way, there is a point in playing it at the end. Last thing, this is the thing that is kind of dead about it. Let's talk about event quests. Now, Monster Hunter's event quests have been known to be amazing. The event quests on this game, they were lackluster. So far, the best one was the Street Fighter crossover. Why? 1. You could either fight a giant Rajang or a tiny one, and the giant one hit like a fucking truck. So, gives you a challenge for future. The second reason is the Akuma layered armor. Now, I don't normally like layered armor for reasons of they don't really change things gameplay wise. I like regular armor to add in interesting skills so I can build different sets. The Akuma armor is the exception because it literally changes the animations. You could fight like Akuma. He's literally attacking, which kind of gives me the feel of something I've wanted in Monster Hunter for the longest time. A brawler set. Like brass knuckles, martial arts gear, stuff like that. Because it would be a fast blunt option. Blunt damage doesn't have a fast option. Sharp does with the dual blades. Range does with the light bow gun. But blunt, you don't really have a fast option. You have a medium slow option with the hunting horn. A slow option with the hammer. And some bladed weapons have some attacks that can do blunt damage, but they don't have a dedicated blunt damage fast build. They have a medium slow build in the hunting horn, and that plays more of a support role. And they have a slow build with the hammer, but no fast. And the biggest thing is, this game was made by Capcom. It's not like they are limited in what they can do crossovers because of legal reasons. They own a whole lot of series. Hell, look at Monster Hunter Generations. Look at Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate. they had a lot of crossovers. They had a crossover with freaking Fairy Tail. But they can't put that many crossovers in this game for some reason. They can't build new weapons. They can't do a event to introduce weapons for the Apex monsters. So yeah, in terms of event quest, it is dead. Hell, look at World. They had that Witcher event quest that literally added a new monster. But, in summary, no, Monster Hunter Rise is not dead. We are still building for the end game that's coming in the future. And the end game is literally making gimmick weapons and learning new weapons. I hope you had a good time. This was your host, and I am signing off. Peace.